Spain is one of the most popular countries in the world with Western expats, and it's not hard to see why. There's a lot about this country that's extremely attractive for a lot of people to move to and retire in, and even a lot of young people as well are also moving to Spain. So also another thing is I spent a lot of time growing up in Spain. I would spend the summers in Spain basically every year. My family had a home there that we would go to. So it's a country that I'm very familiar with and that I love very much. But firstly, let's talk a little bit about the benefits of Spain and what, makes it so attractive for Westerners. So in my opinion, I think that Spain has the highest quality of life in Europe by far. Nothing beats Spain, nothing beats Spanish food, the weather, the infrastructure, etc. It's amazing for the cost of living in the country. Spain also has extremely cheap real estate. It's extremely easy to buy a property as a foreigner, and very cheap as well. And also Spain has great healthcare, has one of the highest life expectancies in Europe. And the healthcare is very affordable, especially if you're coming from a place like the US. And also if you're coming from a place like the UK, it's going to be much better as well. In Spain, it's also very easy to sort of find your group and be with other expats from the place that you're from, whether you're British, you're Irish, American, Canadian, whatever. It's very easy because it's such a retirement hotspot and such an expat hotspot. You can always find similar people in Spain. It's very, very easy. Some of the best beaches in the world are in Spain as well. And, even to have an apartment, close to the beach, walking distance from the beach in Spain is not very much. And also Spain is also very safe, especially outside of the center of Barcelona and parts of Madrid. It's extremely safe, especially when you compare it to places in France, in the UK, etc. Extremely safe these days. So some of the best cities in Spain, in my opinion, are number one is Malaga. And Malaga is just a great city. It's very livable. They even have a metro for such a small city, which is quite surprising. But Spain does invest heavily in infrastructure. Also you can get trains to Madrid very quickly. Same for basically all these cities. Seville as well, you can get the high-speed train to Madrid easily. And Malaga is just like the perfect mix of like a great city, but also like a great beach city at the same time. And you're obviously close to Marbella, you're close to Gibraltar as well. I think the location is perfect. Another one is Alicante, and Alicante is great. It's like a small city, very beautiful. You have like the fort looking over the city, very beautiful marina, and kind of that whole region in Alicante is very popular with, expats. Same with Malaga, obviously. Both of those are like very expat hotspots, and like Murcia as well near there. And then you have Seville, which is definitely a more traditional Spanish city. It's going to be a bit less like tourists, a bit less of foreigners living there. It's still very touristy, obviously, because it's extremely beautiful. And you have, Plaza de España, which is, one of the most beautiful places in the world. If you don't know what it is, Google it. But all three of these cities are extremely livable, very low cost of living and very nice to live in as well. And also another place to mention as well is Valencia. That's also another great city on the coast, a bit higher up. But yeah, Valencia is absolutely amazing as well. I wouldn't really recommend Barcelona. It's a little bit, wild and unsafe these days. It's definitely a cool place to visit. Obviously, Madrid is great as well. You don't have a beach there, and it gets a bit cold in winter. But like Madrid is great if you want to be in the capital and you love big cities. Madrid is going to be great for you. So the easiest route to live in Spain, if you don't have an EU passport, is going to be something called the Spanish Non-Lucrative Visa. And this is basically a visa that lets retirees and people that have, passive income or savings live in Spain. Because Spain want to make it easy for, people that have money and are retired to live in the country. It's like, as long as you're not going to become a burden on the state, it's very easy to move to Spain. So the requirements are either 30,000 euros in a bank account or that you earn over 2,400 euros monthly. And this has to be passive. It can't be from employment, unfortunately. And also, another thing is you have to have health insurance with coverage in Spain when you apply as well. But basically, one of the amazing things about the Spanish non-lucrative visa is that you can include your children, you can even include grandparents as well. It's very flexible to include your whole family unit. So on the savings part, it's an extra 7,000 euros in savings per dependent. And then on the monthly income as well, if you were going to prove it that way, it would be extra per dependent as well. But it's very reasonable amounts of money that are very easy to bring your entire family. So the documents required, it's pretty straightforward. So you obviously need your passport, some passport style photos for the visa. You need proof of health insurance. This is essential when you're applying. If you're British, there actually is this new scheme that you can do, which I will leave a link to below, which would basically allow you to get free health insurance in Spain. You don't have to pay for it. If you're from another country, you have to pay to get health insurance in Spain. It's not that expensive. You also would need your proof of funds, so like your bank statements or, showing your passive income and stuff like that. You need a criminal record check from the country that you've lived in for the last 5 years. Very easy to get. You also need a medical certificate saying that you don't have any contagious diseases, very easy to get as well, and you have to complete the EX01 form. Now, all of these things, maybe it seems a little bit daunting, but we can help you with getting all of these things. It's a very easy process. I've helped, many people move to Spain, and like the timeline that you're basically looking at is like, preparing the documents first. It's not that many to get done. Most of them are pretty easy and take like a week to get. And then the application has to be submitted at the consulate or embassy in the country that you're residing in. And then to get it approved, it depends on the embassy or the consulate, but it's usually around 2 to 4 weeks. It can take up to like 6 weeks, but usually it's approved in under a month. And then when it's approved, you can then travel to Spain, and then at the local immigration office, they basically give you your residence permit, which allows you to stay in the country, and do everything as a normal resident, and you can stay there basically. So Spain is like super simple compared to a lot of countries in Europe to move to. And you compare this to like Portugal, for example, and in Portugal people are having to wait a year or even more just to get their residence permit. Where in Spain, things are very fast. They want you to come to the country if you have money. It's very easy, etc. Also, if you have an EU passport, this process is obviously a lot more simple. You'd have to register at the local like town hall type place, and like register that you're living in Spain and do certain things that way. But obviously, this is a visa for people that don't have an EU passport. So if you're interested in moving to Spain, and you want to get started, you can always book a consultation down below and ask any questions that you want, and we're happy to help basically. But yeah, I think that Spain is one of the best options, especially for people retiring in Europe. I don't think any other country beats Spain really for retiring.